Welcome to Bedtime Bible Stories this evening. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I did, by the way, make a playlist, so if you want to just listen to one after another, you are more than welcome to do that. It exists both on Facebook and on YouTube, if that's something that ever interests you. I hope everything is going well for you. If you have any prayer concerns or any prayer requests, of course, send them to Tina as usual. As you can see, as we get further into the stay-at-home orders, my hair keeps getting longer and longer, so that's a fun game you can always play. But of course, before we get going too far this evening, I gotta have my joke of the evening for y'all. So here is my bad math joke for this evening. Definitely let me know if it's worse or better than the former math jokes that I keep utilizing. Alright, so here we go. After a sheepdog gets all the sheep in a pen, he reports back to the farmer. All 40 sheep accounted for. But I only have 36 sheep, the farmer says. I know, says the sheepdog. You told me I was to be rounding them up. And out goes all the groans. Anyways, here we go for tonight's story. I'm sure you guys enjoyed that. I'm teaching all the little ones all sorts of great hilarious jokes so they can retell you, which is my great hope of what's going on with those jokes. So here we go. Moses and God's people escaped out of Egypt and into the wilderness. They didn't know the way, but God knew the way, and he would show them. I will bring you to a new home, a special land, God promised them. I will look after you. I am with you. God sent a big cloud for them to follow, a pillar of smoke stretching up to the sky. He moved in front of them as they walked and shaded them from the blazing heat of the day. And when it was time to rest, it stopped. And through the cold desert nights, it kept them warm, glowing like fire. God led his people through the desert to the edge of a great sea. They were just wondering how to cross it when, suddenly, they heard a terrible thundering and pounding. It sounded like horse hooves? They shaded their eyes and looked back, and screamed. It was. Pharaoh and his army were coming to get them. Pharaoh had changed his mind yet again. Get my slaves back, he had screeched, and charged out into the desert after them, with 600 of his fastest horsemen, and every single chariot in all of Egypt. Chariots. What were God's people going to do? In front of them was a big sea. It was so big there was no way around it. But there was no way through it. It was too deep. And they didn't have any boats, so they couldn't sail across it. And they couldn't swim across it because it was too far, and they wouldn't make it. And they couldn't turn back because, well, Pharaoh was chasing them. They could see the flashing swords now glinting in the baking sun, and the dust cloud, and the chariot after scary chariot surging towards them. So they did the only thing there was left to do. They panicked. We're gonna die, they shrieked. Don't be afraid, Moses said. But there's nothing we can do, they screamed. God knows you can't do anything, Moses said. God will do it for you. Trust him and watch. But there was no way out, they cried. God will make a way, Moses said. Another minute and it would all have been over. But then the strangest thing happened. Moses, you got the soldiers, the folks, the river, sea. Think of Lake Michigan. Trying to get across Lake Michigan. Not easy. God made the pillars of smoke move. It moved behind his people and hid them from the Egyptians. Then God sent a strong east wind to blow all night long. It blew the water on the big sea. It blew it to the left, it blew it to the right, until it blew it into two towering walls of water. And there, right through the middle of the sea, a muddy pathway opened up, and God's people walked across on dry land. If you're wondering, the Charlton Heston version totally got a lot of that wrong. When the Egyptians had tried to follow, the walls of water crashed back down on them and swallowed them up. God's people were safe. They danced and laughed and sang and thanked God. When there had been no way out, God had made a way. Many years later, once again, God was going to make a way where there was no way. From the beginning, God's children had been running from him and hiding. God knew his children could never be happy without him, but they couldn't get back to him by themselves. They were lost. They didn't know the way back, but God knew the way, and one day he would show them. Well, I hope you all are hanging in there all right, and I hope everything's going okay. If it's not, please let us know. We are here for you. And we want to be here to help you. So God bless. I hope this has been a good start to another week. Amen.